Audrey Hepburn entered the minds of millions like the most exquisite and pure dream ever woven by Hollywood. Through timeless films such as Roman Holiday and Breakfast at Tiffany's, she captivated the world with her radiant smile, wide eyes filled with innocence, and an elegance that became an eternal standard. She was revered as a goddess of light, a symbol of flawless perfection in a film capital filled with scandal and noise. Yet behind that glamorous facade and endless applause lay an inner world marked by scars and profound loneliness. Audrey was not a woman made happy by fame. In truth, she was a soul shaped by the harshness of war and complicated emotional journeys, where sincerity was often overshadowed by the realities of life. Every luminous role on screen seemed to be an effort to conceal her deep longing for a true home, something she had paid for with countless tears. Audrey Hepburn's philosophy of love did not lie in grand vows under the spotlight, but in the quiet of her later years. She understood that the greatest love stories are not always the ones splashed across headlines, but those that blossom when the world stops watching, when the curtain falls and only two souls remain facing each other. For Audrey, love was a journey of seeking refuge after life's storms. Before her final breath, the woman known as the Swan of Cinema revealed a truth about the man who truly belonged to her life. He was not one of the famous leading men she had shared the screen with, but someone who came and stayed in complete quiet. To understand that final destination, we must revisit the turbulent chapters of her life, beginning with the ill-fated romance that left the first scar on her heart in Hollywood. Fate brought Audrey Hepburn to meet William Holden on the set of Sabrina in 1953, just as she was taking her first steps into Hollywood. Holden was then one of the most charming leading men, while Audrey was a promising new muse with an ethereal beauty. Between breaks and romantic scenes, a sincere and passionate love blossomed between them, far beyond the script of black and white cinema. Under the golden lights of evenings in Los Angeles, they shared deep emotions few ever knew about. Audrey once admitted that Holden was the first man who truly made her fall deeply in love, a powerful connection of souls beyond the camera lens. Yet that radiant love soon faced a harsh reality when Audrey revealed her greatest desire, to become a mother and build a large family. A cruel barrier emerged when Holden confessed that he had undergone a vasectomy and could never have children. For a woman who saw motherhood as her life's purpose, this was a devastating blow to her hopes for a happy future. Despite her deep feelings for him, she understood that love alone could not fill the void left by the laughter of children she longed for. Leaving Holden became one of the most painful decisions of Audrey Hepburn's youth. She chose reason over her heart, a future family over a passionate but ultimately unfulfilled love. The breakup left a lingering scar, teaching her the first lesson of sacrifice in love, that sometimes letting go of the person you love most is the only way to protect your own dreams. The failed romance with Holden closed a chapter filled with regret and led Audrey into a search for new stability. That was when Mel Ferrer appeared, a man who offered her the promise of a home and shared intellectual values, but also marked the beginning of new marital challenges. After her heartbreak with Holden, Audrey Hepburn found comfort with Mel Ferrer, an actor and director of intellectual depth and emotional resonance. They married in 1954, becoming one of Hollywood's most admired couples, united by a shared passion for theater and philosophy. Mel was not only a husband, but also a guide and protector, shielding Audrey from the overwhelming pressures of fame. The peak of Audrey's happiness did not come from an Oscar statue, but in 1960, when her son Sean was born. After several painful miscarriages, his arrival felt like a miracle, bringing her a joy that made all the glamour of Hollywood seem meaningless in comparison. In those moments, holding her child, Audrey believed she had finally touched the dream of a perfect family she had long desired. Yet that picture of happiness gradually began to show cracks that were difficult to mend. The strain of demanding filming schedules across continents and Mel's somewhat controlling influence over her career created an invisible distance. Rumors of jealousy and the shadow of unequal careers began to erode the peace in their home, turning intellectual conversations into tense silences. After 14 years of trying to save the marriage, it ended in 1968, much to the public's regret. Audrey left the relationship with a weary heart, yet still hopeful for a new beginning. She chose to step away from Hollywood, seeking refuge in Switzerland and Italy, hoping to find a quieter life where she could shed the image of a star and fully embrace her role as a mother. It was during that journey toward peace that Audrey met Andrea Dotti, an Italian psychiatrist with a charming presence. Once again, she opened her heart, hoping that a simple life with someone outside the entertainment world would bring lasting tranquility. They met on a sunlit Mediterranean cruise in 1968, where Dotti's courtesy and psychological insight warmed her exhausted soul. Just a year later, they married, opening a new chapter that Audrey believed would allow her to leave behind the image of a star and become an ordinary wife and mother. Driven by her deep desire for a stable family, Audrey made a decision that astonished the world. She stepped away from the screen at the height of her fame. She moved to live in Italy and Switzerland, dedicating her time to caring for her home and raising her second son, Luca. For her, preparing dinner or taking her child to school brought a greater sense of fulfillment than any film award, a peace she had traded her brilliant career to achieve. Yet the dream of a quiet life in Rome soon turned into a repeating tragedy. Andrea Dotti, with the charm of an Italian man, could not resist outside temptations, leading to recurring rumors of infidelity in the tabloids. The growing distance between a woman who valued loyalty and a man drawn to personal freedom turned their home, once a refuge, into a prison of doubt. By the early 1980s, after more than a decade of trying to hold things together for the sake of her children, Audrey Hepburn was forced to face the truth that her second marriage had also reached a dead end. This collapse brought her deep pain and a sense of disillusionment about everlasting love. Yet it was this very loneliness that became the catalyst leading her toward a greater mission, where she would find the true meaning of existence through acts of compassion. The end of her years in Italy was not a conclusion, but a stepping stone into the most radiant phase of her inner life. She no longer sought love for herself, but began sharing that love with millions of disadvantaged children around the world, embarking on a deeply moving humanitarian journey. She chose to withdraw from the scrutiny of Hollywood's spotlight to devote her full attention to providing a stable and peaceful childhood for her children. For Audrey, being an ordinary mother in her home in Switzerland, tending her garden and preparing meals for Sean and Luca was the greatest achievement she had ever pursued. Yet her compassionate heart did not stop at the threshold of her family. Having endured the horrors of World War II, facing hunger and fear as a young girl in the Netherlands, Audrey deeply understood the suffering of abandoned children. These painful memories drove her to dedicate herself to a mission with UNICEF throughout the 1980s, becoming a voice for the voiceless around the globe. Instead of appearing at glamorous parties, people saw a frail, simply dressed Audrey Hepburn in jeans and a shirt, traveling to some of the poorest regions of Ethiopia, Sudan, and Somalia. She did not go there for publicity photos. She went to embrace starving children, to personally deliver medicine and clean water. Her eyes no longer carried the sparkle of a star, but radiated the boundless compassion of a mother for humanity. This humanitarian mission helped Audrey find redemption for her own soul after the heartbreaks of her personal life. She realized that love was not confined to marriages or romantic vows, but was also the unconditional sacrifice for those most in need. It was during this journey of seeking meaning through charity work that fate brought her to an unexpected man, the one who would give her the final peace she had long sought. His arrival was neither dramatic nor sensational like the films she once starred in. He came like a gentle breeze on a quiet afternoon, bringing deep empathy for her past and a steady shoulder for her to lean on in her later years. Around 1980, when Audrey Hepburn had passed the age of 50 with emotional wounds still unhealed, she met Dutch actor Robert Wolders at a gathering of mutual friends. Wolders had also recently suffered the loss of his beloved wife, and the two lonely souls found each other through a quiet, mutual understanding. Without grand gestures or sensational headlines, their relationship blossomed naturally and gently, like a wordless melody in a noisy world. What bound Audrey and Robert most deeply were their shared memories of World War II in the Netherlands. Both had experienced hunger and fear as children under Nazi occupation, an experience no Hollywood star could truly understand. This shared past allowed them to communicate without many words. A glance or a touch was enough to understand each other's thoughts and needs. Unlike her previous husbands, who sought to control or overshadow her career, Robert Wolders gave Audrey a sense of complete freedom and security. He did not stand beside her for fame or scandal. He chose to remain in the background, a quiet companion, a soulmate, and a steadfast support. Their love was built on mutual respect and purity, where each found in the other the peace they had spent a lifetime searching for. For more than a decade together, though they never held a wedding or signed a legal marriage certificate, Audrey often referred to Robert as her true husband. She admitted she had never felt so loved and understood, finally finding the emotional stability she had long yearned for since entering the entertainment world. Wolders did not love a cinematic icon. He loved the simple, genuine woman behind Audrey's image. Robert Wolders' presence gave Audrey Hepburn the strength to face the final challenges of her life. When she chose to devote herself more deeply to humanitarian work in impoverished regions, he was always there, not as an observer, but as a devoted partner, sharing both the hardships and the joy of helping those in need. When tragedy struck in the early 1990s with a devastating cancer diagnosis, Robert Wolders never left her side. During her most painful days at her home, La Paisible in Switzerland, he stayed awake through the nights holding her hand, reading to her, and understanding her deepest fears as a fading icon. His selfless devotion turned her final days into a time filled with peace and warmth. Though they spent more than a decade together without a lavish wedding or any official marriage document, to Audrey, Robert was the true love she had sought her entire life. He stayed not for the fame of a star, but for the soul of a simple woman named Audrey. When she passed away peacefully in 1993, it was Robert who saw her off with the utmost love and respect, fulfilling his promise to remain by her side until the very end. The life of Audrey Hepburn, with all its highs and lows, leaves behind a profound final message about the value of the heart. She taught us that true love does not have to be the most dramatic story or a perfect marriage in the headlines. Sometimes, true love is simply the person who chooses to stay when the world turns away, when beauty fades and the spotlight goes dark. Audrey Hepburn's journey did not end with her iconic roles, but with the image of a woman who found her ultimate peace in the arms of someone who truly understood her. She departed in serenity, leaving behind an immortal legacy of compassion and a living testament that after all of life's storms, the final love is the greatest love of all. We hope the story of Audrey Hepburn, the swan of cinema, has given you a new perspective on happiness and empathy. If you admire her beauty and kind heart, please like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to explore more inspiring untold stories of other legends. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next stories.